From making fools out of the opposing team to not scoring a touchdown on purpose, here are the top 10 high IQ moments in the NFL. To kick off our countdown, let's start with a very foolproof play that will have you reading NFL rules like a dictionary. Ty Montgomery, making this play following a kickoff, looked like he was just fooling around. But that couldn't have been further from the truth. In fact, Ty, who was playing for the Green Bay Packers at the time, knew exactly what he was doing. If he had fielded the ball there, the Packers would have had to start play from deep. But there's a rule which states that if a ball goes out of bounds from a kickoff, the other team restarts, but at the 40-yard line. The ball was still infield, but if it's touched by a player who is out of bounds, then the ball is as well. Some nice quick thinking right there from the kid from Stanford. This single play earned him praise from his former teammates, such as Davante Adams, who said, "I would have never thought to do that. That's the type of stuff Ty can pull off." It was a smart, heads-up play by him. This wouldn't be the first time that a Packers player showed a high level of IQ with a play like that. Back in 2012 in a game against the Titans, Randall Cobb did the exact same thing, and the Packers went on to beat the Lions 34-27 that day. I wonder what rule the Packers would exploit next. But while some teams are using rule books to give them an edge, some players are masters of the art of deception. They say the eyes don't lie, but they clearly haven't met Patrick Mahomes' eyes. It was late in the second quarter in a game between the Chiefs and the Ravens when Mahomes fooled the Ravens' defensive team. With his eyes fixed on the right flank of the field and his body also positioned just as so, Mahomes sent a pass to the left flank to Demarcus Robinson. The Chiefs had covered 25 yards thanks to a little bit of trickery from Mahomes. It's moments like these that make you realize that truly Mahomes just is that quarterback. But it's not just seasoned quarterbacks that are out here making smart plays. Even players barely in the league are giving their teams the edge with their brain work. Games in the NFL can be very exhilarating, and the winners can sometimes be decided within seconds by an unlikely moment of luck or brilliance. Sometimes there are unlikely heroes too. The Dolphins were less than 10 yards away from the end zone, so the Eagles' defense wasn't going to leave anything to chance. When Dolphins punter Matt Haack received the snap, wide receivers looked occupied, so he held onto the ball longer than he normally would. Eagles defensive end Vinny Curry was already lunging towards him, and it looked like there would be a turnover. But that's when Haack launched a pass that found an unmarked Jason Sanders, who had been able to slip past Eagle defenders who were creeping forward. In his second year in the NFL, Dolphins place kicker Jason Sanders caught a pass to score a touchdown which tied the game before the end of the second quarter. Nothing like teamwork. And here's another great example of good teamwork making the dream work. Losing is not what the Patriots are well known for. But when they were down by 7 in the middle of the second quarter, a touchback was the last thing they wanted. So in order to prevent that, they produced one of the most incredible plays seen in a while. Jonathan Jones leaped to the end zone to keep the ball from falling into it. The play was saved, but the work wasn't quite done yet. So Rex jumped in as well to take the ball out of the end zone where Humber fielded the ball at the 1-yard line. The Patriots went on to lose to the Steelers 17-10. But you have to admit that play right there looked like a scene straight out of an action movie. I personally haven't seen anything like it before. Talk about playing with all your heart. On the other hand, some plays show that players play best when they're thinking with their heads and not with their hearts. There are times when, to win some, you have to lose some. And this play right here proves just that. Jared Goff passed the ball to Todd Gurley in a play with 2 minutes left on the clock. Then Gurley proceeded to power his way through the Lions. When he got to the left flank, he didn't go to the end zone, but instead, he started running along it before allowing himself to get tackled. Did Gurley just forfeit a chance to score a touchdown? Oh yes, he sure did. With roughly 2 minutes left in the game and the Rams barely holding on, maintaining possession was the name of the game. Running down the clock was the safest way the Rams could ensure victory. If Gurley had scored the touchdown, the Lions would have capitalized on the possession and done everything they could to turn the game around. But Gurley wasn't going to let that happen, even if it meant him not stat padding with an easy touchdown. NFL fans who have him on their fantasy lineup would have been mad, but not the Rams fans. Hey, sometimes to beat the other team, you need to beat the clock. But the only thing as important as time in the NFL is yards. In the NFL, every yard counts, and sometimes those extra yards are just a split-second decision away. In Week 4 of the 2019 NFL season, the Chiefs faced off the Lions. and were down by 3 points by the start of the fourth quarter. A pass from Patrick Mahomes found Kelsey, who was tackled by Lions safety Tracy Walker. He could have lost the ball, but in that split second, he quickly made the decision to pass it on to his teammate McCoy before Walker had him pinned on the ground. That gave the Chiefs a much-needed extra 20 yards for the down, putting them 15 yards away from the end zone. As fate would have it, Chiefs would go on to win that game 34-30. And speaking of smart plays that produce wins, the Indiana Colts have a special move under their sleeves, or should I say, under their hooves. I'll see myself out. Normally at kickoff, the punter kicks the ball at least 10 yards towards the opposition. But when McAfee saw a chance for an onside kick, he took it fearlessly. The Colts had kicked off twice earlier in the game, both deep on each flank, so the Texans were anticipating another deep ball. McAfee, seeing that the middle was empty, dared to try this risky yet rewarding play. His teammates had warned him about what would happen if his idea didn't work, but McAfee wasn't walking off the field, so you know what that means. It worked. He recovered the pass he made to himself, and the Colts went on to convert from the onside kick. Just brilliant. And now that we're heading on to the top 3, expect to see higher IQ moments. The bootleg is one of the oldest tricks in the book, but it still works like a charm. 1 yard away from the end zone, it's hard to keep composure, but not for Peyton Manning, who pulled off this bootleg with ease. He didn't even have to run to the end zone. That's how you know who's a veteran and who's not. Everyone was wrestling it out at the line of scrimmage, not knowing that the ball wasn't even there in the first place. Heck, even the cameraman thought the ball was still in the dog pile. This play not only increased the Broncos' lead from 4 points to 10, but it also gave Peyton Manning his first rushing touchdown in 5 years.
His first rushing touchdown in 5 years.
The bootleg is a nice trick to use when you're within 10 yards of the end zone, but what about when you're 90 yards from the end zone? Dwayne Harris has an idea or two. The Raiders and the Broncos had no chance of making it to the playoffs in the 2018 season, so there wasn't much to play for. Regardless of this, that didn't stop Dwayne Harris from taking advantage of a fumble by the Broncos to produce a play that will not be forgotten anytime soon. The Broncos punt kicked the ball well into the Raiders' half, but when Andre Holmes and Isaac Yiadom of the Broncos couldn't save the ball at 1 yard to the end zone, Dwayne Harris was lurking close by. Knowing that the Broncos were off guard, Harris continued the play and took the whole stadium by surprise. He went across the field away from the Broncos players in the middle and down the right flank, covering 99 yards to score a touchdown. It's not every day you see a play like this, but this next one, well, it's the #1 play for a reason. The Rams special team really had it out for the Seahawks with this play. In the second quarter of the game following a punt by the Seahawks, the Rams had most of their players shift to the left flank in front of their end zone. But here's the plot twist. It was all a facade, and the Rams had the Seahawks right where they wanted. The ball was actually going to the left wing and landed right in the arms of wide receiver Stedman Bailey. With half of the Seahawks players on the other side of the field, Stedman powered down 90 yards to the end zone to score a touchdown. In the NFL, sometimes you have to work smart, not hard. The difference between winning and losing may be 5 seconds of a high IQ play. But something that wouldn't require high IQ effort is clicking the subscribe button and watching this next video popping up on your screen now.